Morning, everyone. My name is Drew Andrews. I'm the Assistant Director here at the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities at the University of Central Florida. And today I'll be presenting along with our Executive Director, Dr. Janice Seabrooks Blackmore.
Thanks, Drew. And we'll also have other FCSUA staff that might chime in, Claudia Bellapunto, who will also be joining us. And those of you who are here now, I've been talking with Iris, she may chime in if we forget about something and make sure that we are able to answer all of your questions. And that's a big part of why we are here today, to make sure that all of you are ready and have questions answered for the upcoming institute. Thanks, Drew.
So welcome, VR counselors, to the Florida Postsecondary Education Program Planning Institute information session, preparing for the 2023 Florida PEPI. So we call the Program Planning Institute the PEPI. So today we're hoping that you will gain knowledge of the purpose of the PEPI, that you will gain knowledge of the strategic planning process developed by the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities that is used during the PEPI, and gain knowledge of VR counselors' role at the PEPI and how to prepare. The purpose of the Institute is to increase understanding of resources available for Florida post-secondary comprehensive transition programs and the students that are served in FPCTPs. Also, to increase content knowledge for developing or enhancing Florida post-secondary comprehensive transition programs. We also provide facilitated planning time for interdisciplinary post-secondary education teams to be able to strategically plan for program development and continuous program improvement. We also take time and facilitate opportunities to network with approved Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program leaders and others with expertise. Our focus at the PEPI is to share and celebrate accomplishments, improve accountability through the FCSUA community, which is the online portal that we use for all of our data and information. Also, sustainability of programs, support existing and new teams, and we have many, many new teams attending at this year's PEPI. And again, those team planning meetings that we have are critical. So our format is sort of a hybrid between an institute and a conference model. It's not just all breakout sessions, and it's not just all planning, but there's a mixture that goes in 3 rounds of breakout session, planning time, breakout session, planning time. It also provides a format for learning and applying that learning to the post-secondary education program context, specifically Florida post-secondary comprehensive transition programs. Janice, would you like to talk about our approach?
I would. And a question I have is for the members of you who are on today, how many of you have actually been to one of the PEPIs before? Will you show by raising your hand? Ooh, so no one. Jesse, your hand should be raised. Okay, yeah.
I was just raising my hand on the screen, but yes, I did lower it.
Okay, so this is helpful to know because we want to make sure that we're answering all of your questions. And because all of you are new, and Brandon, as you said, no, never, haven't. So we want you to make sure you ask your questions, because we might use language that you are unfamiliar with, And we don't mind taking the time to slow down and answer questions and to reframe everything. We've been doing this a while, and we want to make sure that you're on the same page because you are critical partners. Our history together has been critical during our planning institute. So please ask questions. And when we think about our approach, it really is to build capacity among our institutions. We have institutions that are coming that do not have an established program. We have institutions that are coming that do have an established program. Either way, we want to build a capacity across the state to increase the number of inclusive post-secondary education programs that are approved Florida post-secondary comprehensive transition programs across the state. We have over 120 eligible institutions, and right now we have about 22 who've become approved programs. And our goal each year is to increase the number and to provide a capacity building opportunity for them, as well as for them to improve the work that they're doing. So our programs meet with us twice a year. This is our big planning year. Team leaders meet with us mid-year, but this is the time that teams come together to really talk about and plan how they would like their inclusive post-secondary program to really build and improve over time. Part of our approach with this institute is based on research. It's a way to extend research to practice. We are using, and we'll talk about in a few minutes, an evidence-based and promising practice model. Through strategic planning, we use a platform in which we plan, and we take the practice from post-secondary ed and as well as institute and professional development. We bring that together so that it can strengthen the work that we do. You'll hear us say the word strategic planning all the time because it is a platform, but this is also a process. Our approach is a process as well as we have a website dedicated to it. And so when we think about strategic planning, it helps us at the center develop implementation and evaluation strategic plans for individual institutions, help institutions develop implementation and evaluation ways that they can look at how we can get better and continue building capacity and improving what we do. And again, and like I said, we have a strategic planning system that's online that informs technical assistance for our center and professional development needs. When we plan our annual meeting like the one that's coming up, it's based on what our teams have put in the tool in addition to other things. So this capacity building model helps us inform the research. It helps us look at ways in which we can improve professional development and provide technical assistance throughout the state. Okay, Drew? So our approach and the components within this institute is focused on building and strengthening post-secondary education programs, as I mentioned. As you know, our programs are inclusive programs. They're Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition programs. But to give you just an overview of the components, we have what we call content sessions, facilitated team planning time meetings, content resources, and of course the planning tool. And we'll go over each one of those just to elaborate a little bit. And again, at any point in time, you can stop and ask questions. Our content sessions, when we use the word content sessions, you may think about in a conference, you think about sessions. Of course, you have a plenary session, a keynote. We have a keynote session, and we're excited about our keynote presenter. This year is the director from the Office of Special Education, Valerie Williams, from the federal office of, from OSEP, Office of Special Education and Research. We will have 3 rounds of content sessions. That's like if you've attended a conference, you've gone to different sessions that you like and were of interest. And when our teams are going to these content sessions, we ask them to divide and conquer. We ask them to look at the number of team members they have, look at the sessions, and all of the sessions are designed to help them with planning. In our program on Hoover, which we'll introduce to you as well, it has the domains that I'm going to go over in a little bit that correlates with areas in our strategic planning tool that may help our teams identify, hey, we want to go to this session so we can get a little more information on how to strengthen what we're doing or confirm what we're doing. There'll be 3 rounds of that where there's 6 presentations at a time. And in our content sessions, experts from the field, which we'll look at, are called content resources. Experts from the field will be able to join in on those content sessions. And then also those sessions are FPCTP guidance sessions where we look at what our programs are providing information or information that we can provide to our FPCTPs to help them move through their program development. Our facilitated time is very critical. So after those rounds of sessions, we have teams either before or after come together and talk about what they learned. And this year we have more than 30 teams joining us. And I think the number stopped last week, Drew, right after closing. And we got everybody on board, and you can see the range in size from 2 to 10. And it's a very broad group of people. We want it, and we encourage our teams to be very diverse. And so in the diversity, we mean have faculty and staff from your institution, have people or organizations from different professional organizations that represent components in your institution that may be disability focused, that may be employer focused, that can help you think about how you want to advance your program. Have state and or local agencies available. We have advocates on the team, specialists from the school districts, because that's an important avenue for us. We get our students from primarily our school systems, but depending on the program, they may be any adult with intellectual disability and age range. And of course, you as an important key to our team. We like to make sure it's a pretty diverse. This year, what's different is we have, as you know, over 30. And I think Jesse and Brandy, you sent us a team of about 15 liaisons. I don't think there's 20. And
Give or
so,
take, yes.
yeah. And so that will mean this year we'll do a little, we'll work with looking at who's actually confirmed with registration. And right now, Drew and I are thinking we will have one of the liaisons work with 2 teams. And so one half of the time work with the team, another half of the time work with another team. And we're going to pick, so Iris asked a pretty good question at the beginning, let us know the areas for those counselors who are on, what area you're closest to, which institution you're closest to, and we'll work with connecting you with those institutions because you'll be able to provide information about your area more effectively with teams that are closer to you. And so in the past, we've had our teams be our liaison on each one of the teams as we could, but this time we're going to have to spread you a little bit. And so part of also that is the content resources that we'll talk about who'll come in and visit. The facilitated team meetings, there's 6 hours where there's an expert leading the team, an expert facilitator actually leading the team through those planning times. Is 2 hours at max at time, except for our second planning session to be big, but the intent is for it to be 2 hours of planning time. There'll be a lunch included within that time, and then planning time. The tool will be used when we talk about the content resources. When you go into Hoover, which Claudia is going to share with you in a little bit, when you go into Hoover, some of you, Jesse is acting as a resource. I hope Brandy is acting as a resource. When we call you a content resource or refer to them, those are people who will be willing to come in to one of the planning sessions and answer questions on their area of expertise. And so we have people ranging across areas of expertise related to post-secondary, related to employment, related to advocacy, of course, VR. So we have a range of content resources who will come and during those planning teams and help the team move forward some things that they struggle with. Also during the facilitated team planning meetings are session debriefs. And so that means after you've gone, teams have gone, and we encourage you to go to the content sessions as well. After you've gone to those sessions, then members will come back and talk about what they learned in the session, how that might be helpful to the planning time. And the VR counselors, if you're a part of a team during that time, it might be helpful that you share what you learned and how that can be aligned with what the team is trying to accomplish during the year. We ask our teams to make one good plan. There's a possibility to make a lot of plans. I wouldn't say hundreds, but a lot of plans. And so we ask them, walk away with one good plan. And so when they're making that one good plan, part of the closing is a team report out. And this year they'll be reporting out in a type alike. What that means is they will report out in and with other institutions there like them. For example, we have technical colleges. Our technical colleges will be together. State colleges, our state colleges will be together. Universities, our universities will be together. A little different, Jesse, from what you've seen before. We've had the big, everybody report out. And because we have so many teams, it's gotten pretty big. So to help be a little more efficient on time, they're reporting out in type likes. Okay. And as I mentioned, the content resources are experts. Once the team meets the first time, then if you are acting as a resource, a content resource, Jesse and Brandy, during our second team meetings, that's when our teams will let us know we want someone to come in, particularly if there's not a VR counselor in there who can help, if there's no liaison in there. And then we ask that the content resources are there for about 20 minutes so that we can share the love. We can share all of the content resources around the number of teams that, that will need their help or want their help. But they should have their questions ahead of time so you don't go in blindsided. You should have an idea of what the questions are and then come in prepared to kind of walk through them with that. But that'll be handled through the facilitator and FCSUA team. And so other than people reaching out to you in the Hoover app, if they're coming to a planning meeting, it should only be from one of us that reach out to you. Anything to add, Drew? Iris?
Yeah.
Before we go on and Claudia kind of walk through Hoover just a little bit, and then we encourage you to explore. Again, how many of you have heard of the Hoover app and or used it other than Jesse? Okay, Brandy has. Any others? I think I see a mouth moving. Angie, did I see your mouth moving? Yes?
I'm trying to learn it. So I'm kind of playing with it, but trying to learn. It's new.
Take some time before the Peppy and play around with it. We have some engagement activities we hope that will help you kind of maneuver around.
Yeah,
but
and
yeah.
the Visions Conference has used it for the last 2 years. So
yes,
I was pleasantly surprised to learn you guys were doing it. So
yeah, pleasant surprise, yeah. So we will see before Claudia goes into Hoover if there are any questions from the content that we've covered so far.
Feel free to unmute yourself, or if you would like to put your question in the chat box, that will be fine also, and we'll be happy to read them out of the chat box. And also the presentation has been loaded into the chat window. And when I say chat window, I'm talking about the little speech bubble down at the bottom of your browser window. Claudia has also placed a login for Hoover and specifically for Peppy in the chat window also.
Okay, so I guess if there are no questions at this point, I'm just gonna walk you a little bit through our event in Hoover. So if you have registered with our registration link while registration was open, you should have received a confirmation email, and that confirmation email had the link that I just shared with you in the chat. But if you have not, please let us know so we can have you in our participants list. But this link that I share in the chat is the way for you to access our event. If you are a new user to Hoover, you will have to set up an account. And that is done through that link as well. If you don't have one, you can see that's telling you down here, sign up. So the only thing you have to do is just make sure that you're using the same email address that you use for to register. That's all you need. Set up a password and find the 2023 Florida Postsecondary Education Program Planning Institute. So, and you can see how it looks, kind of our front page and the FCSUA initials and all that. So this instance of Hoover is the web version of it, but it also has an app. It's up to you how you decide to navigate it. My personal recommendation and preference, because we're going to be doing a lot, is having it in your phone if you want. So I think it's easier. It is certainly different if you look at it from the web version, if you look at it from the application. I like the application. It's very user-friendly and it's very easy and accessible to have on your phone. The agenda, the map of the conference area where your the teams are going to meet. So it's all going to be there. So I will say that. So I'm going to sign in with my account and I'm just going to show you a little bit around and starting with the agenda. What I do like for those who are learning the platform is you can see the full agenda, everything that's going to happen from Monday through Thursday, but you can start looking at it and start building your agenda. So you can add to your agenda the sessions that you're planning to attend. So you have in your hands kind of a reminder, tells you the welcome is going to start at 3:30. So you're going to get a reminder in your app that's going to tell you it's time to go. The good thing about that is that it also tells you what is going to happen. So you have location, you have time, you have speakers all there. So you can message even people, connect with participants through the app without having to text message them. So it's all built into Hoover, just at the so you can just have it from your phone. So that is a good way to do and to build your schedule. I do like that feature a lot, that allows you to build your agenda for all the sessions that we have, and especially when you know that what team are you going to be helping out and be part of. So once they kind of plan out what sessions they're going to attend, so it's an easy way to know where to go. The other part that we like a lot about Hoover is the community. So this is a very good area to network, to share resources that you think are beneficial for the team and for others participating. There are a lot of topics already posted in here. You will see people sharing other conferences that are similar to what we're doing or their interest of the audience that we have at our institute. You can introduce yourself just to know who is there. Ask questions, share articles that you think that might be of interest for the participants. So the community is really a big space to share and network. You can actually go to the attendees and find someone that you want to talk directly. You can say hi just to connect with people that you're meeting there. So it's a very good way to connect with everyone that's going to be at the PEPI. But really the community, I think, is my favorite place because you can interact. You can ask us questions. If you want to reach out to us, there is a ask organizer. So it will come to us directly. You can actually organize meetups. So if you identify people that have like common interests that you want to discuss certain topics, let's meet. So you can suggest a meetup to talk about the work that BR does beyond the time of the institute, maybe after we're done with all the breakout sessions. So that's a possibility, and you can connect. We will have a lot of engagement. We encourage the teams, to participants, to share what they're doing, to share photos, to share resources in there. So you're going to see that we have a lot on the resources, and the resources is available also on the app on your phone. So the floor map to the hotel is there, so you know where to go all the time. So you're going to see every room that we have listed in our agenda is already in there. What I like, and this is very cool, is that you can pin. So you bring in the map and you pin the room, so you can navigate like you're using Google Maps or Waze. So you can really navigate through all the rooms that you need to go. So you're not lost. I mean, we'll be there to help you out, but this is very, very, very good. So we have both levels. So where you're going, it's all there on the floor map. We'll be uploading, and we also actually have it here. So local restaurants, places to go after that you might be interested in. We have our social media. We try to encourage people to follow us, to share what's going on there in the Institute, so everyone that is not there know what's happening, what are we doing. So we're going to have our hashtag, which is hashtag Florida Peppy. But here you can follow us directly. You can visit our YouTube channel, our Instagram, Facebook. So we have like dedicated content depending on the platform. So we really encourage everyone to visit our social media pages, and those are located on the resources. We have the leaderboard for those that are a little bit competitive. So everything that you do in Whova gives you points. So that's a very nice things to do. So if you post a question, if you share a conference, if you suggest a topic, if you share an article, you get points. So you can see that people are trying to get on it, because we have Tara. She's being great at up for today, sharing content in the community. So this is a way to like encourage people to network and to share information with other participants. We're going to have almost 300 people, so you can imagine that it will be a good opportunity for everyone to help each other and to network. As I said, this is the web version. I will encourage to get the app. That's always what I say. I think it's easier. You can have it, open it up with the link that I shared, but I will say the app is better because it's easier, it's simpler, and it has all these features and more. So that I think that covers Whova. It's very simple, but it's very engaging. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Okay.
Very thorough. And we'll go back to sharing again. There we go. So let's talk a little bit about the agenda for the Florida Postsecondary Education Program Planning Institute. Registration and check-in will be Monday, July 10th from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. The kickoff for the Institute and the keynote presentation begin at 3:30 in the afternoon. We allow folks that are traveling from distances around to be able to drive into Orlando and to be there for the keynote at 3:30. After the welcome and keynote, we're going to have a welcome reception and an agency and a Florida Postsecondary Comprehensive Transition Program exhibition, where all of our established Florida Postsecondary Comprehensive Transition programs will have a table and have information about their program available to everyone at the reception. We also ask all of our agency partners to have a table and to share resources with the group. We have some games involved. There's going to be great hors d'oeuvres and a cash bar, and it'll just be a nice evening from 5:30 until 7:30 on Monday. On Tuesday,
Drew, can I interrupt you for a second?
you certainly may.
Just for the counselors, I'll have all the brochures for the table, the documents, things that we'll need, so you don't have to worry about bringing anything. I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. So Jesse's going to take care of the VR table materials, so he'll have that there. So on Tuesday, we start out with a general session, and each day we provide breakfast and lunch. So there'll be breakfast available from 7:30 till 8:30, and then we're going to have the Inclusive Employer Award, as well as a student panel of Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program completers. Following this general session, we're going to have breakout sessions, as mentioned earlier. So there'll be 6 breakout sessions to attend. And those will be from 1 to 2 and from 4:30 till 5:30. But before that breakout session, and these are flip-flopped a little bit here, immediately following the panel, we'll have facilitated team planning times, and that will go from 10:15 till 12:45. So that's where each individual Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program will each go to a room where they will have facilitated planning with a skilled facilitator and also a VR counselor there in the room. And they will open up the strategic planning tool, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And they'll look at their plan, talk about the coming year, and start thinking about what direction they want to move. Then they'll go to that breakout session, and they'll keep doing that 3 times. They'll have facilitated planning and a breakout. So on Wednesday, breakfast begins at 7:30 again till 8:30. There are breakout sessions at 8:30, followed by facilitated team planning at 9:45. Now, the report out and type alike, where we'll have 3 groups, technical colleges, state colleges, and state universities. That will take place from 11:45 until 2:45. Then we'll all come together in the ballroom again from 3 until 3:15 for our closing and evaluation. This will all be in your agenda. So next, let's talk about an overview of the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities strategic planning tool.
And this is where I was telling you that this is where the 6 hours will be spent with your help. And you should, as you and I was talking through it, and Brandy and Jesse, you might help us think through it. And Jesse, you're a little more familiar. Before, we've had our VR counselors be members of teams, and they would also have access to the tool. Because our liaisons are going to be spread to 2 teams, we were trying to decide what makes most sense, to have them assigned to 2 teams, or they will be in the session and they'll be able to see the plan as the rest of the team will. I don't know if the login is as critical, but I think so, with understanding what the team's planning has been. So that's kind of where we are in making the assignments. We haven't done them yet, Brandy and Jesse, but we're thinking about each liaison will have 2 assigned teams. If I know there may be a team or 2 that is bringing a VR counselor from their area who's been part of their team before. So we'll look at that, and then we'll make the best decision about the sign-in with the 2 different teams so they can be familiar with it. Because there is, in helping them carry out their role, it is important to know the team's plans. But everybody on the team will have access to this online platform, just so you can know how to log in and see what each team member is doing. It is based off of, though, the taxonomy for post-secondary comprehensive transition programs, which is a guiding framework that we've developed in building this plan that helps all of the institutions of higher ed develop inclusive post-secondary programs. And our focus, I don't think we've been remiss, but if we've been remiss, it's for individuals with intellectual disabilities. So as you go through the strategic plan and think about the taxonomy as our guiding framework, it is built on the assumption that we're talking about people with intellectual disabilities. This taxonomy serves as a part of the capacity building model that helps expand the opportunity for those inclusive programs across the state. And the content and domains were based on existing research, 3 primary areas of research: and that has established each one of those domains. And as we go through, you'll see each one of those benchmarks. We're not going to actually enter the strategic planning tool during this session, but it is something that we wanted you to understand the foundation of the taxonomy and kind of what each team will go through and think about. And our team leaders have been prepared to do this and been working through it. We'll have, if you get with a new team, they may not know. They may be learning just like you about the taxonomy and the domains and the benchmarks. So we'll walk through those domains for you and you'll be able to see the benchmarks here. Hopefully you have the handout. Go ahead, Drew. When we look at this taxonomy in general, you can see all of the domains together. And we pulled out just a few key things that are important under each one of the domains. Student is at the center of this domain, of all of the work we do. And I know of all the work you do, your client, your customer, consumer is at the center of your work. And so our consumer is the student. And so as we think about this taxonomy, it's the basis is student focused and things that we look at that help a student move forward. We move on to looking at faculty and staff, how their role aligns with in an institution, building a program that makes a difference. And we'll talk a little about each one separately. But this gives you a big picture of all of the domains and then some of the key areas in each one of those domains. Let's go ahead to the next one. As I mentioned, the student-focused domain. This domain really addresses the experiences of students in post-secondary. Particularly, we got lots of students with disabilities in our post-secondary. You all are used to that. So these are their experiences and perceptions from a post-secondary perspective. So when a team is working on the student-focused domain, they're thinking about what are the experiences and the perceptions at the level of the student that we need to be thinking about and how we enhance or develop a program with that in mind. Looking at some of these main benchmark areas that kind of help keep, again, the evidence-based and promising practices that we learned in the literature forward, knowing that in order for a student to be successful, these components must be in place, whether it's from person-centered, from the student knowing their rights. When we look at the next domain, the faculty and staff domain, this is from the perspective, of course, of the faculty and the staff. And then what are their knowledge, their attitudes and beliefs about services provided for individuals that are non-disability service providers at your institution? What are their perceptions, their knowledge, their understanding? And again, as VA counselors, VR counselors, you have been dealing with that with individuals in higher ed, understanding how you can help with accommodations and support to those faculty and staff in building. Our programs might focus on this area and trying to figure out how to bring faculty and staff up to speed, how to enhance what they already know, the perception, dismiss perceptions that they have and misbeliefs, but add to building faculty capacity so that the program can build. And all of these programs are integral parts of each institution. So it's important that the faculty and the staff are on board, okay? And then when we look at the program and institution focus on domain, this is looking at the policies and procedures that exist at this institution, and then what policies and procedures that an inclusive program can parallel with and enhance for this particular population, because our programs in higher ed aren't prepared, not all of them, for working with young adults or adults with intellectual disabilities. So how do we help build that? And that's in addition to those who are already in the disability arena. So we know our accessibility people know what to do. How do we help build the program and institution policies to enhance the experience for our students with intellectual disabilities as they maneuver that institution? And then the last domain, Drew, as we move forward is looking at the concepts and systems domain. This is a bigger, better, broader domain. It addresses which each one of the components of an institution, how do we evaluate that? How does everything that the components of the inclusive post-secondary program align with the institution in which it will be housed? How does it look at validation of the work that the institution attributes, proposes to have, that it is also part of our inclusive post-secondary program? It's the bigger program, the bigger message that the institution conveys, not only across the institution itself, but to the broader community. How does it convey and show how much these inclusive programs align with what they are currently offering? And then kind of go through that validation that we are indeed doing that. And so this is called concept and system. Each one of the programs are going through those domains. They will not address each and every domain. They will not address each benchmark in each domain. They'll pick an area. And this is where I said earlier that they'll make one plan. They'll make one good plan that we ask. Some will make more than one, but one good plan that they will work through the entire action of. How do we get through completion for 1 year? Any questions? Okay, Drew's going to talk about preparing then.
Okay, so what do you need to do to prepare for the PEPI? Well, your role is going to be an active team member. You're going to share expertise about vocational rehabilitation services and the resources that you have to offer. Share information about other resources in the community where the institution for higher education is located, and provide suggestions of ways to strengthen partnerships. So in preparing, maybe you could learn about your team's program, and we hope that this week we'll have counselors assigned to teams so that we can tell you which teams that you'll be meeting with. Some of those are established teams. Many of those are brand new teams that are still in the development stages. But we want you to learn about each team's program, what they're doing, the credentials that they're offering, how many students they're serving, what programs are available to students. We also want you to review assigned teams plan in the online strategic planning tool. And we will be able to allow you access to be able to see the team's plan so that you can be prepared to share what works and what inclusive post-secondary programs can do to increase paid and unpaid work experiences for students before exiting programs. We encourage all of our programs for students to have paid work experience before they exit the program. We're looking at more than just an entry-level job. We're looking at a job where students are able to use the credential that they have earned to gain employment that could lead towards a career. And also be prepared to provide suggestions about transitions from FPCTPs to competitive employment. So for the time where students do exit and have completed the program and move on to employment, because employment is definitely our final outcome, what are other ways to make that smoother and to make the collaboration with vocational rehabilitation work even better? Bring your questions. I'm sure you've got lots of questions. So bring your questions to those meetings. Come with an open mind. Use those network opportunities to learn more about other programs, gain new ideas, and to make new friends. This is a great group of individuals, and I'll guarantee you can't be around folks that enjoy each other more, have a good time, and love to talk and meet new partners. Be ready to work hard because there are many sessions to attend, and we ask that everyone be actively involved. We want to maximize our time together in person again. We all know that there were a couple of years where we had to meet remotely, but we're able to be in person again, and we are thrilled that that time is back. Next, we're going to move into questions. And I'm just once, and I also want to let you know that our contact information is at the very end of the presentation that you're able to download that from the chat window. But I want to stop sharing so we can see each other if someone raises their hand or if someone has a question about the PEPI.
As Drew mentioned, it is work. Oh, Angie, were you have a question? Does somebody have a question? Okay, it is work. And so going to the content sessions is helpful. You know, a big part of why we started with our liaisons joining us is because our teams are encouraged to seek all the support and resource in addition to the scholarships that we provide for students participating in those approved programs. VR funding, our students are eligible for VR funding for the most part. They're also eligible for federal aid because all of our programs are federally approved programs, and our students can receive Pell Grants and do work study. And so it's important that our VR counselors understand all the funding components. And when the teams reach out to talk about students becoming customers of yours, that you are familiar with what the inclusive programs entail, their credentials, so that they can align with your individualized plan of employment. And we know that early on with the work that we were doing, there were confusion about whether these students were eligible or not. And that's sort of the history behind why we're here today, so that we can answer those questions and be guides for when there is a stumble. Not guaranteeing every single person who applies will be eligible. You know that better than us. But we do let you know that our programs are designed for students to be employed. That's what these programs are designed for. And you know about the legislation that's in place and the role that you must play. So we are opening our arms to questions and welcoming the opportunity to partner in a very strong way so that our programs have fewer stumbles, so that our counselors are more informed, and you can help us answer questions as well for our institutions that maybe you are challenged with. And so this is a good time to address that or answer anything else that maybe we haven't shared already. It's a lot. You'll be busy, and it's okay. But we learn together, and you'll find out our team embraces that family atmosphere and learning together. That's something that we do well.
Well, I would just like to say I'm really excited. I'm fantastically, wonderfully excited that I get to participate this year because I've heard about it.
Yes.
And haven't been able to participate in previously, but I'm really excited about that. One tiny, like maybe even housekeeping detail, dress code. I'm assuming we're looking at a business casual.
Yes, we're casual and comfortable. Yes, very.
I just want to make sure our staff know exactly, you know, how to appear.
Yes, that's important.
Thank
That's
you.
important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jan, I just want to add that there has been some difficulty with downloading the handout, so I will be sending it through the email to everyone, and I can send that with the recording, which would be later on today, hopefully, or tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I was also just going to add in for our counselors on our VR Avenues page, we do have the resources that go over how the program is funded and it works, and there's resources to help you as well. So if you want to like refamiliarize yourself with them on the VR Avenues page, then if you need help with that, locating it, I can assist. But there are resources there for you.
And when we get the link for the video, we can also include the link for the resources on our internal intranet so that everybody is on the same page, because this is a fantastic program across the board. I am so excited that it is growing exponentially in the state. My first experience was with this concept was not even a Florida college. It was Clemson Life. I had a
Mhm.
client that went to Clemson Life, and I was like, what is this? Do we
Yes.
have these? We do have these.
Yeah.
And so
Good, yeah.
I hope that we can partner even more so that all of our staff are like familiar with what it is and how it can help our individuals with those most significant disabilities really be the best versions of themselves.
I know it. You know, that's a great point because, you know, Brandy, and for the other counselors, there are over 300 programs across the country that are inclusive programs like these. And so Florida has the benefit of having legislation that supports it in its implementation in a different way than other states have. So we're leading the nation in that aspect. And so, yeah, Clemson Life, we partner with one of the directors there to kind of help us and share with our programs as well how it works there. So we get that benefit.
Any other questions that anyone might have? Okay, if you have any difficulties, our contact information is on that PowerPoint handout that we shared. So feel free to reach out. We're here to assist you in any way and appreciate your collaborative spirit and look forward to you joining us at the Post-Secondary Education Program Planning Institute in July. Everyone have a safe, I know that's the week after the 4th of July, so everyone have a safe 4th so that we can all be together on the 10th and have a wonderful PEPI.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for everything, and we appreciate your efforts in this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
looking forward to it.
Thank you.